People was coming for us. They like, she said, I got my.
They like, where y'all at?
Hey, let me tell you this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I kind of am. When I hear the intro, I like that beat. I like.
Hey, you know what? Beat. Hold on. You just sounded like Chris Tucker when he's talking about Michael Jackson and the 50 Cent beat. I like that beat.
I like the beat, right? You know,
yeah, the beat slapping on me.
When you're creating something, it's like you hear some things, you hear elements, and you're piecing it together, so you don't really hear the fullness of it until you're done, until it's applied. And you know, it's kind of like different types of art. You know, any type of art. You know, you see the artist paint, and then they step back all the way back, and then they try to get a full view of what they created. And it really just hit me like that beat. That beat is alright. Beat is alright. I did a pretty good
job. The beat, y'all. FYI, for those of you who don't know, Ken be putting the beats together, the ads together. Listen, it's fire. I promise you, ain't many people out there with fire ads like we got. I promise you that. It's just
especially people who are not trained in it, because I ain't been to school for it or nothing. I just learned how to do it and started working.
Hey, you made it happen.
Hey,
right. That pandemic brought out a lot of talent.
That's a fact. Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of missed the pandemic some days.
Real. Hey, it's a lot of things I missed about the pandemic.
Well, I don't miss the pandemic.
I didn't miss getting fat though during that joint though.
I miss what they call
200 pounds. So
I miss what they call the shelter in place. I miss that part of it. Like when we were just in the house, not a lot going on. You get a chance to watch TV and chill and work on a lot of stuff. And like your attention was, you were able to focus in on things that before you didn't have time to, because so much was going on the outside.
Right. Unlock that creativity.
Yeah.
It got crazy creative during the pandemic.
I missed the flight prices, the pandemic flight.
That's true. That's true.
What? That's very true.
Flight prices was heaven sent.
Yeah, hey, that was the first time that I flew out to LA during the pandemic. Yes. And the flight prices were amazing. I think I flew round trip for like $300.
Man,
like 300
to LA.
If you find that now, that'll be a total blessing for real.
Yeah, and I ain't talking about Spirit either. So
your boy got what was it? Southwest.
Hey, nothing against Spirit. I just said before the show that for people my height, Gmo too, because Gmo's my height as well, we can't sit in those regular seats on the plane. They don't work out for us, man. Your knees all in the back of the chair. And unless I can get an exit row seat, which if I'm traveling with my daughter because she's under the age of 15, I can't sit in an exit row. So I have to find a regular seat or pay for an upgrade, which I usually would do, and allow myself to have that leg room because listen, especially it's a struggle, man. When you trying to move around and people in front of you, trying to let that seat back. I'm like, nah.
For them knees, man.
Nah. Listen, listen.
Then you get hired when you work on that emergency row. You get hired. They be like, yeah, we need you to sign up.
Work for that room.
W-2 for this, or what we doing? Like, but you get hired. We need you to snatch the door off in case of an emergency. Like, okay, you gotta
work for that room. I'll work for it.
Facts. I will.
Only use Spirit for your short flights. That's all I'm saying. If you're flying from Cali to Texas and it's a couple hours, Cali to Vegas, whatever you're doing, only use it for your short flight. Don't try to fly no 4-5 hours. You're gonna be miserable.
But Southwest know better though. Southwest kind of the Greyhound of the sky.
How cool it looks. You get two the carry-on plus the 2 check bags.
That's
by the time you add all that up on other airlines, you might also come back over to Southwest.
That's a plus.
I ain't taking no bags. I'll take one bag with me, and if I need to buy something, I buy it in that state and leave it.
I'm taking bags.
I don't need it.
Well, Benji's clothes are all small, so they'll fit in a carry-on.
Facts.
Makeup.
I take my shirt,
guys,
roll it up with the cuff that joint in the bag, roll it. There's a technique to this. I can get about 3 outfits and some shoes in my bag.
That's different for a guy because look, makeup, hair, accessories, heels, shoes, that's one bag.
I mean,
Trisha,
I'd rather pay for one than pay for it twice. So I'm cool with
or fly Southwest. Go ahead,
Trisha, do you pack a bunch of stuff that you don't wear when you go out of town?
Look.
Yes, she do. I bet.
Because look, I'll be packing right, and I'll be swearing I'm a minimalist, and then I'll be like, but what if we decide to go out? But what if I feel bloated that day and I don't want to wear this? What if I don't want to wear these jeans? Okay, I might need a dress, but what?
So you got to include the bloatation in there, huh?
Might hit the pool, maybe not, but I don't want to be caught without it. So I'm gonna bring this. So
yeah.
I mean, me personally, I say, just go to the store or mall or something when you get to a new city.
That's how that happens still too. And then I have to keep extra room for the things I want to buy that's out there.
Well, here's the thing, people. See all the stuff they're talking about. You need money. You need money to do all this stuff. Yes, and that happens to be the topic for tonight is we're talking about relationships and money. All about the money.
All about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to say my name like that, but it's okay.
No, sir. Sit tight.
But,
I mean, I'm just saying.
So before we get started, we got to check in on our people, and we have a sponsor tonight. So we got to touch on that before we go to the topic.
Sure.
So y'all see we got a different face on the cast tonight. We got our boy G-Mo joining us again. What up, G-Mo?
He's a regular man. He belongs to the show.
I'm a cousin. I pop in.
First cousin.
Facts. No, he really is first cousin because he was one of the original Fiyah Session people that we used to have in the crew when we first started doing the show back during the pandemic. So yeah, he's joining us today. We got Trish Michelle, of course, and we got Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Trish Michelle, the lady of the house. How you doing today?
I'm good. I cannot lie. You know what? My day started bad, but I made it good, y'all.
What you do? You almost
what happened?
I'm gonna blame it on Apple because none of my alarms went off, but they went off for work.
Oh.
And so I just
you overslept, huh?
Yeah. So that whole
you snoring a little too hard, huh?
I was who?
You were snoring a little too hard, huh?
Oh, who knows? I'm not gonna act like I'm just cute and might not snore, but I'm not one of those people that. But if my allergies toe up, I might let a little heavy breathing out.
So she might sound like a little 4-cylinder while she sleeps. A little 4-cylinder. A 4-cylinder. All right, G-Mo, what's good, my guy? Welcome back.
Man, appreciate it. I mean, you said I was jumping on her back in the pandemic, man. So salute to y'all, man. Y'all been rocking. This 2023, man. Hey, I just want to give y'all flowers, bro. Y'all been putting this content on a regular basis and growing and expanding, and you know what I'm saying. So shout out to y'all, bro. This super dope.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. We just trying to keep plugging away, keep grinding it out. And Benji Banks, the man, the brand. What's good, my brother?
I'm tired, boss, and I still got 2 more assignments to finish. So as soon as we're done with this, back on the computer, back in the class, knock this thing out and burn the midnight oil. Probably, take me a little drink or something and, stay up a little bit and knock this out. So, but other than that, man, everything's good. Life is, what it's going to be. So you got to make it what you want it to be. So
Facts. Okay, so like I mentioned before, y'all, we have a sponsor for tonight's episode. We got our brother Jacob Grovey.
Yes,
Jacob Grovey has been on the show before. He is an author. He's also been featured on the 85 South show.
Yes.
Pull that little graphic up for y'all so y'all can see the brother. And he's got a
Yeah.
new work that he's putting out called Perspectives of Violence. And he has a ton of work that he's already put out. And we need you all to go to his website, check it out, and possibly buy something. I'm gonna go ahead and put that his website in the comments. Boom.
I like
So
that.
y'all check in the comments. Y'all can see his website is jacobgrovey.com. The new work is Perspective of Violence. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with a Nas song called I Gave You Power. He raps about violence in that song from the perspective of a gun. And that's what Jacob has done with his perspectives of violence. He has written a collective of stories, of crime stories, but from the perspective of a gun. Very, very interesting and dope concept. I had never seen it done before from an author in a book. Nas was the first person that I really heard rap like that and rap from the perspective of a gun. And he has revamped that whole idea and that concept and put it in this book. So y'all go to the website, check out the reviews, check out the other content that he has available. And the brother is very dope, very supportive
Yes.
of the show. So we appreciate him for coming through and blessing us, but also blessing you all with something to read. And he also has a bunch of children's books.
Right.
Let's go and support this gentleman because he has content for our children to read that is
Right.
not crazy off the wall, that is wholesome books that
Right.
that we respect for our
Right.
children. So
And he was a
y'all,
dope guest when we had him on the show last year before last, I believe. Dope guest. And so his books, if you go on Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram or whatever, we're sharing his stuff also on there as well from time to time. So he has some dope books, man. Y'all go check it out. Y'all go peep it.
yep. So
I like that book cover, by the way. That's dope.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, his stuff, his work is very impeccable, right? You know what I'm saying? The writing, the graphics, the illustrations, and everything. And I mean, hey, don't get it twisted. You don't. It didn't like Carlos Miller at 85 South Show is just calling up anybody. Like if
Right.
you on the 85 South Show, you did something noteworthy for them to be able to call you and have you on their platform. So big shout out to him, and we salute him, and we appreciate him for sponsoring the episode.
Sure. Appreciate
All
you,
right.
sir.
Thank you.
So today's topic, again, episode 119, all about the money and relationships. Woo! This gonna be
Yeah. This one gonna get a little touchy.
yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one because money is probably the biggest issue in a lot of relationships, especially marriages, and especially why marriages go south
Right.
because the money
57%, if I'm not mistaken.
well, the money ain't being handled right. I don't know the
Right.
percentages, but the money ain't being handled right.
Right.
And it seems like it would be something that would be quite easy, but when you are talking about finances and you're talking about when I talk about marriage or relationship, you're talking about a business agreement, or if you're talking about a marriage, you're talking about like a business merger. So you're merging two entities together and you don't know what this entity over here was doing with their books before they became, into the groove. So when two companies come together, they kind of share each other's books. They say, hey, this is kind of what we do. This is what we are, trying to be transparent. So that's the expectation of what's supposed to be in a marriage. But
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand from from our standpoint, like what can we talk about as far as as far as the audience goes, and give the audience some information to help them, because I know everybody here is grown. Everybody
Right.
here has enough money to be able to speak intelligently about this and have been in relationships or married.
Right.
So I'm going to start with some little notes and then we'll jump into the conversation because I got some questions for y'all and some questions for the audience as well. All right, so money is cited as the major source of conflict in relationships. According to a 2018 study on personal money, 1 in 5 Americans say they have financial disagreements with their partners monthly. And 41% of those surveyed say financial anxiety has an impact on their relationship of some form. That's ugly.
That's very
Yeah.
ugly.
that's that's
And
tough.
if you would be honest, most of it is because people don't know how to handle money. They don't respect money. My uncle put it to me like this. He was like, son, you gotta have a vision for your money, or you'll just spend it. It's made for spending, but if you don't respect money and treat every dollar like it's a worker, you'll just blow it. And then you'll find yourself in a position to where you don't want to be in. You got to climb out a hole, and that's not fun. But imagine trying to do that as a couple, and let's say one person spends way more than they actually make. And usually that's what causes the rift. I know when I was married, I ain't gonna even be honest, I ain't gonna even lie to you. When I was married, I had to get rid of the accounts.
Wow.
Because every check she would have what do you call those fees? Those
Overdraft.
overdraft fees, like
Yeah.
$1,200 every time. Because she didn't know how to manage her money.
Whew.
And when I got married, I wasn't thinking about that. It was just And then you find that space and you're like, hold on, you don't know how to handle money. You're a banker. Like, hold on, something's wrong. So it could be an issue, a real big issue.
She know how to handle other people's money, just not hers.
And she not the one handling it. That's the bank handling it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
she knew how to
Ken,
do her job.
on that percentage, did it decipher if that was men or women being?
Mm-mm. Well,
Good.
you know, it's not going to decipher men or women at this point, and that was in 2018. So still, we're not doing the men and women thing. We're just doing the as a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what the surveys do now. So
Survey said
They don't want to single nobody out.
as
yeah,
a person.
yeah. So
Let's single them out.
You want to protect your feelings
as an
because you
individual.
don't know how to spend money.
Yeah.
But survey, how many, Patricia, do you handle money well?
Now, I didn't used to.
Before?
No.
How like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 5, scale of 1 to 5, how bad was your money handling skills?
It wasn't bad because I ain't never lose no house. I ain't never stuff got taken care of. But at the end of the day, I still was just kind of just spending frivolously. It was whatever. So then it became, there was never nothing saved if something major happened. So major things would happen and it'd be like, all right, you gotta do something different. But I think the problem is it goes back before the relationships. There's no financial literacy being taught. There's no so we're growing up as these teenagers in high school, and our parents didn't know it, or they did know some what version of it where they got their checkbooks and they balancing it all out. But they're not teaching it to us. They just paying the bills. So we don't know nothing. They're not teaching it in schools. We grow older and we just know people leave the house and come back from the store with whatever they want. So we older, we got money, we're gonna do the same thing. And so you're creating your own thing, and then you get in a relationship with somebody that either A, knows something about it or don't. So then now both of y'all got problems. Y'all mad, you spending, that's all you know. You don't know what it means to even balance and save and all that stuff. So that's where it all comes from. So then you're trying to break the cycle that you don't even know where to begin.
And somebody who works for their money isn't too keen on letting somebody else tell them how to spend their money or how to manage their money. That's usually the rift right there. Because if you go on to work 40, 50 hours a week, your concept is, oh, I'm going to do with this how I want to do with it. And then you meet somebody who's like, yo, like, why you spend $300 on that? Like, and it doesn't make sense. But then that's what causes the rift, because if you manage money well, it could be an issue, a huge issue.
Yeah.
I think it come down to like a lot of us in general. I think that we all like the perks of relationships to a certain extent.
Right.
Then at a certain extent, we still kind of want to maintain our own independence.
Right.
And when we stay within that independence, it's very similar to still remaining kind of single, but we don't want nobody telling us about how to spend our money, and we don't want nobody shaming us on what we did with our money, no matter how irresponsible it is. And so you have a thing where we get together and it's like, yeah, sex good, we communicating good, whatever, but my bank account is my personal business. Don't be in that. That's mine.
Right.
And so that's where I think a lot of rifts come from, is that we don't, when we talk about marriage and being together, we don't actually marry wholeheartedly. We do it in portions.
In portions.
So in your bank account and your job and everything else, that's the one portion you be like, I'm keeping to me.
I heard somebody say today that you know a person now, but once you marry them, you got to take on a different persona, because now some of the stuff that you didn't discuss, you know, when you were just courting and dating, now you're trying to figure that out while you're married. And that's where all the issues come in, that because you never took the time to actually discuss, well, how's your money? How's your credit score? How do you throw things in relationships? Do you have breakdowns in relationships? Like all of these things, if you don't discuss, they all become issues. And sadly enough, I think that's why most relationships fail. And I root it in kind of a selfish aspect, not really being transparent or open.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing too. Like you said, one thing you just said, transparency. It's very hard for, I say it like this. It's easier for you to stand in front of somebody naked than stand in front of somebody financially naked. Right?
Yeah.
Right. You'll share your body and bare your body nude before you'll tell somebody your financial business. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird thing, but that's the way it really is. Like you're in a relationship with somebody and you can be with somebody for years and you all are sexually intimate and have all these things going on, and they still not truly know what you're doing financially until you all become one and staying in one household. And then, you know, stuff starts to happen where questions start to come up of, you know, what the heck are you doing with your money?
Right. And a lot gets uncovered because now I know who you've been giving money, what you've been doing with your money. And that is kind of private, but yet and still, what you're doing, give so-and-so this amount of money. Like that becomes an issue that people don't necessarily want to uncover. So when you got all of these issues lining up, it just makes the opposite sex unattractive in a sense, because it's like you not only do you don't know how to handle money, you foolish with your money, and you willing to give it out just frivolously, like with no regard. It's like, what the heck is that? Like, so it can be frustrating.
I think everybody want a team, but don't nobody want to be a team, because how you gonna, you know, we're gonna attack things with this teammate mentality and, you know, build empires and all those other things, but at the same time not want to, you know, make those type of decisions, like money decisions together. Let's both look at how we spend and what we spend it on, and if there is something that money needs to go to, let's discuss it and let's, you know, attack it this way. But everybody, they want that team, but they don't want that team, because when it comes to money, there's a lot of women that I've seen in posts, and I'm not gonna make it about men and women, but I will say that ain't no man gonna tell them what to do with their money, but they sure want the man to give them all their money.
Facts.
So I mean, how are you gonna work out with that mentality? And in reverse, there's some men that's headstrong, ain't a woman gonna tell me what to do with my money. And it's like, okay, well, how is there gonna be a team? So that's why there's money problems too.
I think a lot of guys that have that mentality, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of guys that have that mentality, or you should be this type of guy if you have that mentality, is you're going to be paying for everything. If you're that type of guy who's covering bills, who's paying for everything, and then you're telling her don't worry about my financial affairs, then that's what you should be doing, right? Because the woman wants to feel secure. She wants to feel secure. So if you're not doing those things, but yet you're telling her, don't worry about it, that's easier said than done, because she does not feel secure with you if she doesn't know that, you know, hey, her bills is going to be paid every month. The roof over her head is going to be there, the car and all those type of things, if you all are together. Right. But like you said,
that's why you got to have a plan.
Well, we're going to get to that. we're gonna get to that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we're gonna get to that. And the plans are, simple, but people won't adhere to them simply because we are creatures of habit, right? A lot
Right.
of times when you come into a relationship, a lot of us, were, well, a lot of people were single long time, or
Mm-hmm.
dealing with themselves a long time before they had to go deal with somebody else as far as financially. So they've developed these habits. So
Right.
when you get with somebody, no matter how much you love that person, no matter how much you want to be around that person or with that person, you still have a habit of doing things a certain way.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that person is going to bring their habits into the situation as well. But, I go back and say something that I want to say too about what Trisha Michelle said. Financial literacy isn't taught in schools, especially like it should be. There's a lot of things that we learn in school that people make fun of, like the Pythagorean theorem. Like I still have yet to use that, but I'm using, I'm
It's
using,
useless, huh?
yeah. I'm using, the financial pieces of, life every single day, but that's not
Right.
being taught.
At
So
all.
it's kind of like a trap, right? You giving me
Right.
all these tools to utilize, but you're not teaching me how to use them, right? Because I'll say this, my my freshman year in college, my parents didn't tell me anything about credit cards. They just
Mhm.
said don't get one. They didn't say
That's
why
all I knew
not.
too. Don't
They
get
just
one.
said don't get one. And you know
Right.
what that means when you tell a child don't
Get
touch
one.
that. Don't touch
When it
that.
got one, huh?
Well, when you tell a child don't touch that, what is that child gonna do? That child is thinking in your childish mind. Well, you telling me don't touch that, but I want to know why I'm not supposed to touch that. And I think in my mind, that's how I kind of was. And to be quite honest with you, we on college campus, they were offering all these prizes and all this other stuff. And if you sign up, free this, free that. So I'm like, yeah, I wanted the free stuff. I ain't really worried about the credit card. So I got the credit card, signed the application and did all that stuff. And I'm like, man, they ain't give me no credit card. Oh, good old Discover. So
Let that joint in, huh?
I get back to the house, man, on spring break, and I come in. My mom says you got some mail. You got a pack, you got an envelope from Discover. It feels like a card in there. I'm like, a card. I'm like, they ain't give me no card. Open that thing up. Bad boy said $5,000 limit. You give an 18-year-old a $5,000 limit, it's gonna be disastrous.
Did you get some rims at least?
Oh, facts. Did that. did that. Did that.
Oh
You know what I'm
Lord.
saying? Refurbished. You know what I'm saying? To sold my old subs and went and got me some Rockford False Gates. You know what I'm saying? For the people who know, back in the day, Rockford False Gates was the top of the line brand. So I made my car. My car was shiny and banging when I got back to the yard. You know what I'm saying? At Prairie View A&M. So it was a good feeling for me. But I did not want my parents to know that I had that card and that I was actually using it, because I knew that they would have a problem with it, because they told me don't do
Don't
it,
get one.
right?
Mm,
So all too often for us, especially in the Black community, we don't have a lot of financial literacy courses and things and information available to us as kids and as younger people. So we usually start out in a hole. We start
Yeah.
out with debt as young people, and then
very
as
true.
we get to our 30s and 40s, that's when we start to kind of get enough money to kind of start digging ourselves out these holes. But it's that start that's the problem, right?
Right.
Other people are not starting in debt because they know better,
Right.
Right.
right? But we, on the other
We
hand,
got to do that bought experience type. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Let me figure it out on my own and fall back 3 and 4 steps before you can figure it out and test it out yourself. Some of us, that's just how we grew up. We had to figure it out and keep going. So when that debt hit, but that's when you found out about bankruptcy. But that's a whole nother story.
well, thank God I never had to do that. I never had to go through that process. I do know
Right.
about it. I never had to go
Yeah.
through it, but it was that terrible start and stumbling block for me. And because I started having kids when I was 20,
Mm-hmm.
and my life as an adult started very early. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Much earlier than a lot of my friends and the people who were around me, because they didn't have kids, they didn't have a family to take care of and things of that nature in our early 20s. So, I had to juggle all this, plus trying to dig my way out this whole the Discover card, you know what I'm saying, that I started out with, that I had no clue of interest rates and
Nothing
things of
about
that
it.
nature, right? I'm looking at the statement and it says the minimum payment. Oh, I can pay that, no
You're like,
doubt.
okay,
That's
cool.
easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. And then you start paying it and you paying it and you paying it, and you're like, this thing ain't moving. Every
Interest
month.
Cause
rate.
you trying to get the balance down so you can spend some more.
Facts. I'm trying to bust some
Right.
more. Spend some
But that
more.
interest
Like,
rate,
wait a
though, what was that
minute.
joint? Like 19, 24%?
Man, it was probably like 24% or something like that.
Yeah, they go crazy on that.
I'm like, man,
Mhm.
listen.
They approved your boy with a 500 credit score and gave him $5 grand.
Facts. I ain't have no credit, so I know
Hey,
it
I
had to
was in
be
the same
500, something
boat.
like that.
I was in the same boat, Ken. I did the same thing. Fresh out the gate, credit card, boom. I was like, say less.
Right.
I was like, all the
Facts.
Hey, but listen though, like what's crazy about it though is as you got older, you start realizing like, oh shoot, that's not the move. Like I gotta be better with my money. And that's
Right.
more refreshing. But coming from that experience, you be like, yeah, I ain't never going back to that again. I ain't ever doing that again.
Yeah, it's easy to say it, but for a lot of people, the hole is so deep that they don't know how to get out of it.
Right.
So by the time they try to work themselves out of it, they start having kids. They have a house note now, or rent and car notes, and
Yeah.
when you start having kids and you start having family, the amount of bills and stuff that you have to pay for it multiplies.
Right.
So and then when as kids are growing, they growing through clothes and things of this nature. Like it's a whole bunch of money that you gotta spend
Right.
to maintain a
You look at that
household.
Discover card looking at you again, and you like,
You want to spend some more?
I think
Come
for
on and holler
me,
at
that's what happens.
like I
you.
said,
You know you need that new dress.
for
No, I
me,
don't.
Go on and buy.
For me, bro, I tell my parents all the time, I wish I had listened at that point, because it took me
Yeah.
so long to get off of that 400, 500 credit score, to get my score up, to be able to dig myself out of that hole. Like
Right.
it was ridiculous, man. And I feel sorry for, anybody, these kids that are coming up through school now, because they're being pushed to, know testing and know all this other stuff that don't have nothing to do with real life. And it's our job as parents, as aunts, uncles, cousins, to see these young people and start planting these seeds so they can understand that the information is out there. They just, instead of them Googling all this other crap, they can go and actually Google something that's going to actually help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, got to do better. Some of this stuff, man, we got to teach it at home, to be honest. We
Oh
got to
yeah.
have these little classes. But I don't know, man. Like some of our kids ain't receptive to that. And that can be an issue too in a relationship, because if you raise a group of kids who don't understand how to manage money, and of course you're older, you do understand it, that could cause a rift too in a relationship, because what if your mate don't understand how to handle money and y'all together, but you trying to tell the kids, no, I can't get you that right now. Now it's an issue. You get what I'm saying? So like you can create this whole thing of issues around you, all because you don't want to listen to somebody on how to handle money.
That's
Well,
gonna be my son in his relationship. The money spent before he got it.
Right.
I keep
He trying
trying
to
to tell
flog.
him. I keep trying. He
trying to
just
flog.
don't care.
You know, dudes like to impress women.
sometimes you just gotta be.
That's why broke dudes be sitting back laughing at dudes with money. They like, man, I got her for $6,000 and I ain't got to do nothing.
Oh, he just gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, I
I
just want to
was trying.
say, like Benji said earlier, bald experience, like the old folks used to say, like you're gonna have to be broke in order to figure out, hey, you know what? I don't like this feeling.
Right.
I like being able to get up and, if I want to go put gas in my car, if I want to go grab a bite to eat, not having to say, you know what, I need to put this on my credit card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I need to go over here and buy a new pair of shoes or some cleats because I want to, play football. I don't want to have to dig and use my credit card. But I will say this caveat: we ain't gonna go too deep into the credit card thing because we have episodes where we talk in depth about the credit card stuff.
Yeah.
But credit cards can be used very well and for
Very
great
wise.
things
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
use
Not a
them
bad thing.
wisely, right? But you got to have again that information, that knowledge of how to apply this, these principles to utilizing these tools that you're being given. Just like when you go get a job, right? A lot of these people, they just go and they just want to be hired. They ain't
Right.
they ain't asking questions when they're in the interview, because that's one thing a lot of people don't do. They want the job so bad that when they say, "Do you have any questions?" What do you say? "Nah, I'm good. I appreciate the opportunity." Blah blah. No, you need to be asking these folk questions about this job, because once you say yes and you sign on the dotted line to take that job and start working, now you got all these questions all of a sudden.
Right.
But
Right.
you ask these people these questions. So what do I need to do every day? What can I look forward to on a day-to-day basis? What does that look like at your company? Like, what does a day-to-day in this position, what does it look like?
And always salary negotiate.
Facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never take the
You
first offer.
only get what you negotiate. I
Never
learned
take
that
the
from
first
one
offer.
of the
Negotiate.
wealthiest men in California.
Now let me ask this about the kids. Do you think the younger generations are a little bit unreceptive to this information? Like, we get it and we understand it from our perspective and our age range, but the generation beneath us, they're a little bit more into being flashy and the money. And I mean, I heard a young dude say, brag about his occupation was he do fraud and scamming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like they're looking at it's another way that they're looking at it. Like, a lot of them don't respect the money that their parents make because they think that their parents are
Very
broke
true.
working a job. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's because the parents don't teach the kids financial literacy. So the kids are literally just money grabbers, especially if you have daughters.
Some
They
of them,
just, you ain't teaching them the
some of
value of a
these,
dollar. They think this thing grow on trees.
I
They
think
don't know you have crazy trying to get it.
the difference is how fast and easy it is to get the money now. You can sit in front of your computer and
Yes.
play video games, and dudes is making millions of dollars. You got
Right.
the women in OnlyFans making millions of dollars. So why do I have to have restraint? Is what they feel. And so we trying to come in and teach you money, and they like, I'll have 3,000 by tomorrow. And like, who
Right.
cares? 3, 4,
Right.
5, 10,000 each month. I bring in whatever. So it is devaluing the value of the dollar because it's so easy to make a dollar out here if they have, if they're doing that. So
Very
when
true.
they hear us trying to teach financial literacy or something to them and tell them how to manage money, they like, for what? Like, I
Right.
don't really need to. I could buy whatever I want. So yeah, that's
Hey,
the generation beneath us it's different. They don't care to learn it because why? It doesn't
Right.
pertain to them.
Exactly.
especially when you can go do a parlay bet. Spend $100 and win 1,000 on a parlay bet. If you bet on FDU to win, I mean, hey, you could win. You could have won a bag that easy. So, I mean, I agree.
It's a lot of fast money, way faster than, and then scamming is at an all-time high, especially because of the pandemic.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think people are just lazy, right? Like one thing that you said is it's easier to attain money from so many different resources that are out there now that, when we were growing up, the internet didn't even exist for some of us. For like me, because I was telling my son the other day, like the internet started when I was in high school. So, so we weren't thinking about getting on the internet and making this quick money in high school. Like, we knew whatever money we made, it had to be worked for. You had to go do something in order to attain that money, right? So it wasn't a quick flip. Anything that was a quick flip back then was considered a hustle, and it was something that you kind of want to shy away from unless you want to do jail time. So,
Right.
now there's things like Trisha Michelle said that you can do, hop on your computer, couple clicks, go to a website, sign up for some stuff, and get to working today and making money today.
And
know
that's
what
the
I'm
thing
saying?
that I think that, like, we may, this, our generation, we may have ruined money for the kids due to the fact we were the first people standing in line to buy a pair of Jordans, a high priced tennis shoe It wasn't done before us. And we was
Yeah.
the ones that was like, we're going to put these on our baby feet. And our baby got to have polo. And our baby got to
Gave them
dress like
everything they
this.
wanted.
And our baby can't catch
Mhm.
the bus or the train because we got to take them there. And our baby ain't working no McDonald's. They got to have another kind. You know what I'm saying? We kind of ruined the children on financial literacy.
I could say I'm guilty of that a little. That's what's wrong with him now.
Yeah,
Like, it
it's
wasn't
fun.
he ain't gonna work at McDonald's, but it was, so for me, and I can speak from this aspect, it was he didn't have what my daughter has. He doesn't have his dad. He doesn't have the extended family. He doesn't have this. He doesn't. So I would do more and I would buy more and I would overcompensate. And then now he got older and his birthday list is I want some what the heck are these shoes called? I don't know, but they like $800. He didn't send me a belt that's like $1,000. I'm like, who is your mama? Like, I really be like, who is your mom? Like, first of all, if I ain't got it, why you got it too? Like, where let's make it all, let's all be on the same page, son. Like, why are you asking me for $1,000 belts? Like,
I would have asked him how he gonna get it.
Right.
apparently,
And see, that's if you got a solid with your money, you like, hold on, what we gonna do to work? What you gonna work for this for? Like, you don't even clean your room. Like, hold on.
I know I created it because he a little entitled, and I'd be like, I don't know what's wrong with you right now.
I don't care how good you clean that room. I'm not buying no $1,000 shoes and belt. Like,
he didn't get them.
Not.
Needless to say, he never got them. Let's just say that.
Call daddy broke or whatever, but I ain't buying it.
Right. But I mean it from the
school.
standpoint of when we are trying to teach our kids the value of the money, because remember, you got to have a vision for your money. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a vision for it, like I said, you'll just spend it. It'll go to the newest bag, the newest dress, the newest this, the newest that. I kind of learned really, really, really late in life, late 30s, maybe, 38, around there, to start putting your money into stocks and start getting residual income. Like, I can spend the residual income because it comes in because I invested. Like, that makes more sense. Or I take that go broke buying income concept. And then that way you can go out and have some fun with the money you got, because, you know what I'm saying, you got money coming in multiple ways. And that wasn't taught to us until, late 30s or whatever. So
that's not taught to anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you got to go find it still.
Right.
Yeah, it's in books. And that's the problem. See, it's in books. And like Warren Buffett said, you want to have passive income that you're making while you sleep. Like, I'm sleeping at night. That's, those guys who are very, very wealthy, they're making money constantly and they're not physically or even spending time doing something specific to make that money. At that point, it's already in motion and it's constantly going and they're constantly gaining more and more wealth. So that's what you want to work to the point where you make your money work for you, not just working for your money.
Right.
So, instead of spending, I tell people all the time, I'm a huge sneakerhead, right? So I figured out, okay, instead of buying all these shoes, let me start spending more money on Nike stock, right? If I'm going to buy the shoes, let me invest in what I'm investing my money in is Nike. So let me buy up a bunch of Nike stock. So when that stock goes up, when I'm buying these shoes, I'm contributing to my own bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game, because, again, I know we'll get to it, but that's when you got that plan, when you got a plan in sight, that makes it a little bit different, because now you know what to pick and what not to pick. When you just out there picking relationship wise, you don't know what to pick. You'll just grab at anything. But if the person's mindset is locked in on the same things that you're locked in on money wise, it just makes it easier. It makes it easier to flow.
We got a good question from the audience. Mr. William Haynes posted, the views are well and done, but however, his question is, why would a child even think about asking for $1,000 item? Wouldn't that be what the parent is projecting? So that's what he's asking. Is that something from the parent aspect that your child would say, Dad, I want this $1,000 belt? Because I know my kids are not going to do it because they've never seen it, right? The most they might ask for is maybe some tennis shoes or something. And for me, because I buy tennis shoes all the time, like they don't even have to ask for them because I get them, right?
You just get them, right?
You know what I'm saying? I just get them and they know that that's what Dad going to do. But I mean, if now my sons have asked for some expensive stuff, and I'm just like, and that was my question, like, how you gonna get it? Because you asking
Right.
me about it, that's cool. I can help
Right.
you formulate an idea or a way to, gain the funds to get it, but I'm just not gonna shell it out to you. That's not
Right.
the way this is gonna work.
But that also comes from social media too, because our kids are influenced by what they see on social media. So that can create that also to where they feel that they can ask for things that they just might view on social media.
Yeah, everybody got bricks of money up to their ear, and it's
Right.
like,
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
you,
it is created
also looking
by.
at it.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm the answer. So he asking for it. It was Christmas for one, but that's still not okay.
wait
But,
a minute. So he
but
asked for it for Christmas. Did you buy it or no?
no, we didn't. So
Okay.
this is the problem. So we graduated to that. So first it was 5, 6 years old, 6 maybe. I don't know. Gaming system. It was this age he got Yeezys. This age he like whatever. Like he slowly building and building. And then I guess at some point in his mind, especially I rock certain things too, and so he'll see this bag, Louis bag, whatever bag I got, and he has things too. Also, he's got a custom built computer gaming system that we didn't have done that costs a couple thousand. Like so, it's there. And then he's like, okay, well, she done it. She got it.
Right.
So I'm asked for it. but the problem is as he starts getting older, I start cutting back because
Right.
get a job, work for your money. Then I'm starting to teach these things. So I'm working backwards because that was my trial and error child.
Right.
Like the
Right.
little one is different. She got a savings account. She got over 1,000 something pennies that she didn't save from working around doing stuff. They two different kids. But so then as I'm taking away and I'm not doing this anymore, he like, what you mean no? And I'm
Right.
like, what you mean? Why how you got an attitude? Like so that I created it. He asked for it. He don't get it now. And it's like, you have a job.
Why don't
So
you go do it? Yeah.
I'm gonna buy you this other little gift over here. If you want that $1,000 belt, like mama do when she wants $1,000 belt or whatever it is, shoes, purse, bag, whatever, I'm gonna go get it. So now it's your turn to get it for yourself. You're grown.
Right.
And so that's just where we at now. But that was he wanted Rick Owens. That's the shoes. And now I want some Rick Owens. I ain't gonna lie.
I can understand it. I feel like our generation came up where the things that we had to go through, we was like, well, I ain't never doing this shit again, bro. Like, I'm not gonna be catching no bus. I never make my kid catch the bus. I didn't have all the Jordans when they came out. People laughed at me at school. I ain't never letting my kids go without. And I think we kind of spoiled that next generation.
We did.
And then I know a lot of my female friends that sometimes when they were dating a man and they thought that it was going to be this happily ever after and it didn't go that way, and they kind of feel bad. They're like, damn, I done brought this kid into the world. They don't got their dad in the picture, and they kind of get guilty and start feeling like I need to do more so they don't have to feel lesser. And that started to become like, it started to form bad habits, but they doing it out of not to make a child spoiled, but trying to think that they're doing more to make their child feel better. And it,
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say earlier. I've heard so many people that same sentiment of, well, my kids, I didn't have this as a kid, so I'm gonna make sure my kids got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's cool to make sure your kids have more than what you had, but you also have to instill in them the reasoning behind you giving them these things, how you attain these things, and there's got to be some lessons. Because I know one thing for me, when I was growing up, I was pretty spoiled, but like my grandparents, they did stuff for me and they bought me stuff, but it was a lesson. We had to sit there and listen to, well, I used to have to do this to get the money, so it was going to be a conversation that was going to ensue, but they was going to buy it for you, but you had to listen to some logic before that purchase was made, so you understood that this is just not money falling out the sky. I had to work hard for this, so value whatever I'm about to purchase for you, because Granny had to spend. Granny had to work for this. Papa had to work for this. You know
how
what
much
I'm saying?
a dollar costs.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Also, is like we'll pass on the monetary value things and spoil them with material, But we got to pass that knowledge on. We got to pass
Yeah.
that information on, and we don't.
Facts.
We'll cut it short and be like, oh, they just a child. They don't need to know about that. That's too deep for them. But we need to be passing that knowledge along. There's so many times I done walked up to people and I'm talking to their kids and we talking about, I don't know, Black History Month, and I'm like, yeah, you know, such and such, you're a black boy, or and they be like, I'm not black, I'm brown. We're not passing that, you know what I'm saying? We're not passing that knowledge correctly. But we passing it about the material and not, you know what I'm saying, self-esteem and who you are, and you know that all of that, you know.
A lot of these parents,
that ties into the money aspect, because a lot of us, if we don't have the money, we're depressed, we don't feel like much of anything. So all of that kind of ties in right there as well. Because I mean, if you ain't got no bread, what Pac say? Ain't nothing popping about being broke. Like it's not a good feeling to not have what you.
That's for life to live.
Right. You get what I'm saying? Like you want to have something. You get what I'm saying? Although it's not your whole entire life, but you got to admit, we like things. Women like things. So if you can get it, I mean, you get what I'm saying, legally or however you want to, run it. I know a few people who, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hey.
Say attained by ill-gotten means.
Oh my goodness.
Because you can get in a relationship with somebody that's doing something illegally, and because the money flowing in, it'll keep you quiet.
I just need to know if I need to act like I'm wifey to Big Meech.
Oh
yeah,
man.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. I can never. I don't want no parts in that life.
That would definitely be something that you would need to know that you're getting yourself into.
But that's why y'all got to talk. See,
yeah.
You need to ask. You do need to ask where you get the money from.
I'm gonna share it from this perspective because I've been on both sides of it. I've been rich and I've been broke. I've lived in a mansion. My mom ran the streets of South Dallas. We had any and everything we wanted. My aunt, same thing. Like we had it. And it was probably one of the most miserable places in my life ever. Although we had absolutely everything we wanted from a monetary standpoint, being in that house, seeing what was going on and what was taking place, it was miserable. But we had bread though. We had the latest beans. We had the latest this. We had the latest that. We had it all. Like, and nobody knew what was going on. And it was miserable. Like it was, I revisit them places in my mind sometimes. I'd be like, man, because there were times when I have been broke. And I wasn't okay being broke, but it's a difference, man, when you don't have to worry about somebody kicking in your door in the middle of the night compared to you can sleep well, you can get up in the morning and go hustle your little job, work two jobs, whatever. You get what I'm saying? And make your bread decent instead of worrying about somebody about to kick in your door and kill your whole family. Like it's a whole different ball game, man. So like I've been on both sides of it. And to be honest, man, I think overall, when you get into those spaces, man, you got to realize what makes you actually content and realize having a lot of money or not having a lot of money or being in that middle, which one is comfortable for you.
Yep, more money, more problems.
Yes, sir.
So
problems come when you got bread, for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So let's kind of transition to talking more about, I guess, the couple aspect of it, right? So it says here the couple should strive for alignment on preferences, alternatives, and financial goal setting, and seek consistency in daily financial decisions. Whew. That sounds very simple, but again, it's not as easy as most people would make it. So let's start here. How do you feel about the concept of 50-50 in finances? Like you work a job, she works a job, like that's always a big thing. 50-50, everything's 50-50. Like how do you all feel about that concept? Trisha Michelle, from a lady standpoint, how do you feel about 50-50?
I don't mind it, but I mean, for me, it's like we don't need to spell it all out. Typically, the way I operate, stuff would be basically 50-50. But I do feel like money-wise, whoever makes like a certain amount, sometimes 50-50 isn't possible. Like
Right.
it might have to be, you know, 60-40 or whatever, 70-30, vice versa, man, woman, whatever. So to just be 50-50, I think just actually with being a team, no matter what percentage it is that y'all decide on financially that works for y'all. Yeah, I'm down. I'm not the woman that need him to pay for everything
Okay.
or
Right.
want him to.
So I think the old school way of doing it, and as the easiest ways to do it, is to have a one bank account, right? And whatever you make, whatever he makes, whatever she makes, it goes in one bank account. So
Right.
no matter who makes what, it's one bank account. The bills, everything are coming out of that one bank account. Whatever, you know, household needs you got coming out of that one bank account. So it's kind of like the great equalizer. So,
Mhm.
but you have to be willing to be transparent and say, hey, you know, in a relationship, I make, you know, 140K a year. You need to let that person needs to know how much you make a year, and you need to know how
Right.
much that person makes a year. So
Mhm.
when you all are pooling that money together, you kind of have an idea, and then you sit down and then you say, okay, monthly bills, okay, well, we got the light bill, the phone bill, and things like that nature. And I'm also a proponent of having at least one separate account for yourselves, right?
Right.
So you have certain amount every month. You say, hey, you know what? We're gonna give each other $500 a piece a month, just to do
Right.
what we want to do with it, and then the rest goes to, you know, the main account. So, you know, if you want to buy your wife something, you don't want to have to buy it from the same account that you all share, because she gonna see that you bought
Right.
it.
You gotta have your own account.
Like, you gotta have
Okay.
something of your own, but at the same time, if you're a person and you know you're not financially, you know, good with finances,
Right.
then you have to tread very lightly with the spending outside of the other person's purview, because it's going to become an issue for them
Right.
if you fall into debt.
Mhm.
Because it's not just, you know, you by yourself, especially if you're married, your
Right.
debt is their debt and vice versa. So,
Right.
you know, it's some lines that have to be drawn, but it's ways to do it. And of course, that's what we're gonna talk about. The second half of the show here is kind of like the concepts and maybe solutions to how you all think that, you know, you could help somebody understand how they could, you know, work things out, or maybe we can talk through it to help ourselves,
Right.
because because there are many different ways to do it. There's a lot of concepts, but it's like, which one actually works for your situation? Because we all got
Yeah.
different situations. I mean, everybody out here making money, but everybody ain't making the same amount of money.
Right.
Right. To me, it just simply boils down from the jump who handles the money the best. Like, if you really on this team player, team thing, like, what are your investments? Do you have a Roth IRA? Are you investing your money? What's frivolous that you can cut out that you can do for yourself so that you can save some money? And who handles that money the best? Nobody should be, neither one of you should be without money. And you don't want to treat the next person like they're some type of kid or whatever, you know, that kind of idea, because everybody kind of works on their own. But in actuality, I've seen women with wealthy men and drive them into bankruptcy because they don't know how to handle money. Like, I've seen it from the wealthy side and the poor side. Like, so my uncle will put it to me like this: son, switch your accounts up. If you got to shut it all down and start over to get the lines drawn properly, you got to shut it off sometimes. And I witnessed him do this. Like, when I came to California, that's one of the things he had to do. He had to file bankruptcy. He was getting back on on this thing, but he shut all the accounts down. He was like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to have this one account and start divvying it out as necessary. He's like, I'm not dealing with these late fees and the this and the that and all of that. So to me, whatever your relationship status is, whoever handles the money the best, be willing to let that person handle it and trust them with it as much as you can. That's the way I see it.
And what did you say about the Roth? What is a Roth? What?
Roth IRA, man. Roth IRA. Come on, man. Y'all know what a Roth IRA
That
is?
man, that man that gave a Roth a black name, a Roth IRA.
Listen, man.
For those who are listening, he is
and by
referring
the way,
to
get
a
you
Roth.
some whole life insurance, man, and put
That
that
too.
into trust
That
and
too.
all of that type of stuff.
He-
all of these things, they matter, man, so that you can have some actual money coming in, like not just you working and hustling for it.
He is referring to a Roth IRA, people.
IRA.
I
You
mean,
remind me of this
IRA,
lady.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
You remind me of this lady that
See,
was asking
Ken
about.
knows because he's been there, so he knows what's up.
No, you remind me of this lady that was asking about FMLA paperwork, and she said she needed to get them FMLA papers handled. And I said,
Them who?
them FMLAs.
The who?
Them FMLAs. And that's what I said. I said, I'm sorry, what papers? And she said it again, the FMLAs. I said,
with confidence.
yeah. So then my mind the second time was like, hold on. Lord, okay.
Hold on, run it. Hold on.
So the Roth IRAs is what they out there getting.
Right. Okay, we'll get to the Roth IRA again. Hold on, I'm still lost. The who papers?
The FMLAs.
FMLA?
The FMLA, Family and Medical Leave Act. Those papers that you do when you got to leave and take care of your family members, or you're pregnant, have a baby, and, those things. That stuff. But is she called a FMLA?
You lying. Nobody came in and said that.
She was like, "Is that the people who was helping them people down there in New Orleans when the hurricane came?" FMLA.
Yeah, she migrated here from somewhere else.
She doubled down on it, and I knew she wasn't playing. I said, "Oh, so that was you with the IRAs."
Okay, Roth IRA. Okay, Roth IRA.
We're gonna get a shirt. We're gonna get a shirt that said Roth IRA, and it's gonna be an old regal looking gentleman, black guy with one of those Uncle Ben haircuts. Yeah, it's gonna be fire.
Make sure you tilt it to the side, though. Make sure you tilt the hat to the side. You know what I'm saying?
You got the camera.
All right. So William Haynes is commenting, and he said there should be 6 accounts in the household. 6. So he's saying for the house, fixed and various. You know what I'm saying? Then you got his and hers. You got emergency, and you got the savings for like kids in college and things of that nature.
That's what your Roth. That's what kind of your.
Well, yeah.
Roth
there's
IRA
ways you can break it up into different. A lot of times.
I get it.
Yeah, you can have those different types of accounts.
I have a couple accounts purposely for bills, saving. Like I have, and then I do have Roth IRA and
Roth IRA.
Yeah, and what people have to understand too.
That's what we're calling it on the show today.
And what people have to understand too, there are different banks that serve different purposes, right? So when people start doing the research, do your research on the different banking institutions, credit unions, and things of that nature, because they could be very, very helpful to you and save you a lot of money if you know how to work. Because some of these banks, I'm not gonna even lie to you, they hit you with so many fees for this, that, and the third, for no reason at all. You can have money in the account all the time. They're making money off of your money and charging you money to use your money. And so there are some institutions out there that don't do that will allow you to, have your money in the account and actually be, watching your money grow. So you can put your money in a few different places, to kind of diversify things. And as William stated, kind of divvy things up so you can have some fine lines. Some people don't want to do that, but that is a good way to draw the lines in the sand to say this is what goes here and this is what goes here, so the lines are not blurred as far as, what money goes where.
And that comes from having a team partner. Yeah. Like those concepts sound good just mentioning them out there, but if you're with somebody who don't understand what you're doing and they got trust issues on how to handle money and they done been burned before and you got all of these type of issues, you got to understand that coming in. Like how are you with your money? How are you with spending? How are you with saving? Like, does any of that matter to you? And you got to ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Like you have to, because now you're right. You're with somebody now who you're talking about living forever with them, right? But you want to live forever in turmoil, or you want to live forever in peace?
In debt.
Because she probably gonna leave you if you broke anyway. I'm just saying.
And not only that, man, it's super important that when you get into a relationship, that y'all start to talk about goals. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like mapping those goals out. You need long-term and short-term goals because that's what keep you intertwined with each other, like a DNA helix kind of type of thing. You know what I mean? Like when you starting to grow, if y'all don't have a plan to grow together, y'all will definitely grow apart. You know what I'm saying? So those goals is what keep y'all aligned on the same page, headed to the forefront. And also my thing with the 50-50, I feel like I'm for the 50-50, but I'm from up north where the women up there will get over on you. So you gotta watch yourself and you gotta make sure they invested. Because if
Listen, fam, they'll get over on you from anywhere.
hey man, I love St. Louis, but y'all know how y'all do, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things.
The scammers.
You gotta make sure she invested some because if she not, she probably getting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She get the lick on you. So
And she know how to get that paper.
But in all honesty though, if you in a relationship, 50, I believe 50-50, but I believe 50-50 looks different ways. 50-50 can be you maintaining all of the bills as the man and the woman is taking care of the household. I think everybody should bring in a 50-50 value into the relationship, and that looks different for every relationship. But like Benji said, I believe you have to have those uncomfortable conversations in the beginning to set expectations, because once those expectations are set, you can know what your goal is and what you're headed for and what you're heading towards. And I think that's super important to do so. And I mean, if you feel broke, man, you got to just have that, hey, I'm a little broke. This is what we got to do to leverage this in the future. You know what I mean? And I think it's all important. But 50-50
that comes from having that team player, man. If you don't, it could be, man, trust me, it could be a huge problem.
And one thing you can't lie about is having poor money habits. It's gonna show up.
Your bank ain't gonna lie to you. That paper don't lie.
And pay attention to, after you talk about your money, watch for the behavior that may happen after the money. Because if you getting them dollars, she might change on you. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay attention.
And see, this is the funny part, because we were kind of chopping this up a little bit beforehand, before the show, because we kind of got into the broke dude concept, right? Like how broke dudes get to pull women and money and this and that. And most rich dudes are out there spending it frivolously, right? Because they got it. They could do whatever they want to do, right? But the broke dude, he ain't really tripping off of it like that. So he like, I'm all right. I can get it from you. I'll be straight. Men do the same thing out there, G-Mo.
Well, I know for me, in my marriage, my wife came from a household where her dad's a public account, a CPA. So he does numbers. She's good with numbers. In the beginning, I had that concept of no, yours, mine's. We just gonna make sure everything good, because I got married so young, right? I still had that young mindset. But as we got older, I had to come to grips of, you know what, you're better with this than I am.
Right.
So let me learn how to get better with things of investing and things of that nature. But it's certain things household wise and financial wise, as far as dealing with the household stuff, that you're better at, and that you're more detail oriented than I am. So let me shift that responsibility to you and let you have that. And then, if you need to ask me, whatever, then you come to me. But other than that, hey, I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Here's the money. The money's here. We shift money around or whatever that needs to be done, and then you make it happen.
Right.
So I had to learn that, because, like I said, being the man of the house, you grow up, I'm the man. I run everything. I'm controlling everything. Nah, man. It ain't that easy, and you have to have, and that's why they call it a helpmate. When you're in a relationship, you help each other. And there's going to be points of things that you're strong at and points you're weak at. And hopefully that person balances you out, right? So there's going to be things that you're going to have to just, bury your naked soul and just, and just have to bite the bullet, as they say, and say, you know what, this don't feel good, but I'm failing at this part because I don't know how, but you know how. So how about you take care of this and let me do this over here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Got to take that ego out of it a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I talk to my yard guy, and Jose comes and does the yard, but Jose will tell you he don't know nothing about business.
Right.
His wife Elsa handles all the business. So she calls and we pay her, or we pay him, and she calls and talks business about the services we need. But Jose shows up. Jose comes to cuss the yard, knocks on the door,
They
and
just do
says,
work.
"I am done." That's all Jose does. But we got to understand that he knows his role. We have to
Right.
know our role in our relationships in
Yeah.
order to make the partnership work to perfection, right? Because you know, there's no such thing as perfection. Let me backtrack on that. But to make it work more cohesively, right?
Right.
To eliminate a lot of arguments, because let's just be honest, when that money come into play, there's gonna be some arguments. There's gonna be some
Right.
disagreements.
Yeah.
Well, if you take that ego out of it and you understand, and that's again, that comes from playing, staying in your lane also. But if you got the team partner, taking that ego out of it goes a long way. But like I said, man, if she handles money better than you, and she knows how to make it work, I don't see what's the problem with saying, "Hey, boom, take that every 2 weeks, every month, or whatever," and make sure, and she making sure everything's straight. I don't see what the issue is with that.
All
There's
right, go ahead, Trish.
good.
All right, so I got my trusty notes here. Let me go back to my notes here. According to Morgan Stanley, y'all already know who Morgan
Okay,
Stanley
Morgan
is.
Stanley, let's go.
If you got that, if you into the money talk, you should know who Morgan Stanley is. You should know that company. 6 money questions you should ask your partner before committing. I'm gonna read all 6, and we ain't got to go through each one of them. But these 6 is kind of some of the stuff we've already talked about, but some are interesting. The first question that you should ask is just a hypothetical. If you received a gift of $10,000 tomorrow, how would you spend it? Like, this is the type of question that you might ask on a date when y'all go out or something like that, just to get the idea of how this person thinks about money,
Yeah.
right? Now they might give you some BS answer just to sound political because they trying to win and they trying to look good. But a lot of people will divulge all their dirty laundry when you start talking about money in these hypotheticals, because that gives you a peek into how they mind work.
Right.
So, but the second question is, do you have financial obligations that I should know about? Fellas, especially when you're dating these ladies and you have kids and you have child support and you get into these deep relationship with these women are probably gonna want to know how much that child support is,
Right.
and those type of that type of information is is necessary. And women too. Women be on child support too. So child support is just one example of that's information somebody else needs to know if they getting involved with you, because that's going to eventually become part of their issue as well.
Right.
Okay. Third question is, what's your money DNA? What that was in the article is like, what's your background? What your parents do? How'd your parents handle money? How'd your grandparents handle money? You know what I'm saying? Like, get more into, kind of where that person come from. If they come from a lot of broke people, in the broke mindset, it's probably going to be a perpetuation of that. So you might want to get ahead of that and try to either cut it off at the pass and help them learn more, or just cut tie altogether, because they're going to bring you down.
Get them up out of here.
Asking the hard questions. Don't be scared of that.
Yeah.
Ask the hard questions, especially when you're dealing with people who aren't transparent.
Gmo said, get them up out of there.
Ain't really trying to tell you everything. You should ask those hard questions.
Gmo said, get them up out of there. It's that simple.
Don't be scared to get them up out of there, man.
Facts.
All right. The next question is, how do you envision dividing the household expenses, and who is going to be responsible for the financial chores, such as paying the bills, tracking expenses, or managing the budget? Like Benji said earlier, somebody got to take the responsibility of doing that, right? So you need to talk about that. That needs to be something that's discussed, especially if you're in a relationship and you're talking about committing long term. That's a great question to ask.
Typically, most men don't want to see their women slave working for nobody anyway. So most of the time, most men will, if she's raising your babies and doing all of that, you get what I'm saying? Unless you're older, kids are gone. For the most part, most men want a team partner, but most men don't want to see their woman slaving and working just as hard as them. So they'll carry most of the burden most of the time anyway, unless they fall on bad terms. But typically, most men are like that. Most men I know, at least the ones I grew up around, or the ones I know, so to speak.
All right, the last two questions on here are something that Gmo brought up. What are your goals for the next 5 to 10 years, next 20 to 30 years? Like, those are realistic questions that you need to be asking. A lot of times, the person may not know, but then again, it'll give you a glimpse into their thought process and what their future hopes and dreams are. You know what I'm saying? As far as going forward with them, like I said, you're committing to a relationship with them.
And
And
you
this
don't have to
last one,
give up on them necessarily neither. You can kind of mold them and help them like map that out. Because there
Right.
was somebody who taught each and one of us a little bit of financial literacy that we took on. I had an ex-girlfriend way back in the day that was the first person that put me on the airplane and showed me about savings accounts and stocks and bonds. And once I got that and got that stick, I was gone after that. You know what I mean? Like, I started developing my own palette for my taste in finance. You know what I mean? So there's always somebody who teach you. So just because they don't know or don't have that goal, it may be something you may say may trigger something in them to understand.
okay.
For sure. Makes
And
sense.
this last one, the last question is always a doozy. Like I said, we're not gonna go into detail on these because we're gonna have separate episodes where we're gonna try to address some of this stuff. But prenups have become a big thing because of the simple fact that people make more money now.
Yeah.
Right? People are coming together making more money than they ever had before. So a prenup is actually, something that's a realistic thing for the average Joe now because people are making all kinds of money.
Right.
So to me, the prenup is something that's necessary. If you come into a relationship, male or female, with a considerable amount of assets, doesn't necessarily just have to be money, just assets in general.
Right.
You probably need a prenup because
Right.
let's just be honest, today's marriages are not yesterday's marriages. So they ain't lasting that long. So
Oh, again, a divorce is a come up for most women, for most men. That's a come up. So
yeah.
You
So
can look into them post-nups too. I don't know how you're gonna get her to sign it, but
yeah, that's probably
she
not
probably
gonna
ain't signing.
happen.
She walking away if you make her sign a prenup.
Yeah, it's probably
But
not
see,
gonna happen.
again, all of this stuff, if you ask me, should be asked and talked. The hard questions should be asked before you get to that point.
Absolutely.
Don't get me to that point where we got to discuss this now, because I don't want to learn a whole new you, and we done been at this for 5 years already. Now I got to learn a whole new you that is unbearable. Let me ask these questions off the top. Like, do you throw things when you mad?
The
Like,
only
what
thing
happens
about it,
though is a lot
What
of us.
type of violence have you dealt with? Because every time he asks to give an example, he gets stuff on.
somebody was throwing some stuff.
Absolutely. Like,
But a lot of us
listen, I come up. I told y'all last week I came up, not me personally, because you throw something, you ain't throwing nothing in my house. That's a whole nother story. But that's a whole nother story. I grew up around women who they were boss chicks, and they ain't listening to no dudes. That's what I saw. So it was.
let's see. That's the stuff right there. A boss chick equated to not listening to a dude.
It's tough. It's got a lot of components to it. We're just pointing out that one.
I'm a boss chick, and I ain't got nothing to do with none of that activity.
Okay,
that's on my list. We're gonna have an episode about that as well.
And see, and another thing with us is when we were younger and we were dating and we were considering people for marriage, we wasn't thinking this deep. Thinking about she cute, she got coochie, we good.
Facts.
You're thinking even less deep now. Like, it's even less. Now.
So we had no idea of the financial components that was going to take place in the future. We were just like, oh, she fine, and she.
That's it. And all you saw was having babies with her.
And I can hunch on her like every night, like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't thinking deep. I'm trying to go deep.
Yeah, I'm trying to go deep.
And then your debt becomes deep.
Yeah.
You're drowning a whole bunch of different ways. That's another episode.
And now you got the kids, and they get on your nerves. So you got to be careful. So be careful out here.
Yup. All right. So
that example was. Busy examples be personal. That'd be so personal.
Oh man.
Listen, man. I'm listening. I'm out. Listen, my kid's grown and gone. I'm out of that phase. I ain't got to deal with that no more.
Oh man, yeah. His examples do be pretty personal. All right. All right. So the next thing on my list, this last set, is actually tips for people, right? So Dave Ramsey's, if you know anything about finances, Dave Ramsey's is a financial guru. He has a lot of books. I got a lot of books on my shelf that I read from Dave Ramsey's. He's got 7 tips for healthy financial relationship, and this is kind of geared toward married people, right? So it's 7 things on this list. The first one on the list is keep a joint bank account, which is key. We talked about that a little bit. Discuss your lifestyle choices together. That's another key. Recognize your difference in your personalities, because your personality traits will also kind of give you a glimpse into people's spending habits, right? Don't let your salary differences come between you. You got to understand that if somebody makes more money than the other, that's just a given. And
Right.
if you got the joint bank account like they like they listed as number 1, then it won't really matter as much, because you're contributing what you contribute, they're contributing what they're contributing, and everybody's pouring in something into the household. So this number 5 is a hard one. Keep your purchases out in the open. A lot of times people buy stuff that they don't want the other person knowing they bought.
That used to be me.
Oh man.
So the only solution I can tell people for that is, if you want something in addition to the household funds or something, find you some residual income that you can make some little pocket change to make those purchases with. That's the
Yes.
solution that that I would offer for you. 6, set expectations together. That's kind of a given. And the last one on the list is don't let your kids run the show. We kind of talked about that earlier.
Ooh.
Trisha Michelle
Man.
kind of was letting her little man run the show for a minute. She didn't realize it, because as young people, and we become parents as a young person, we let our kids run the show and we don't know it, because our kids do stuff and they drive to, they want video games, they want shoes, they want clothes, and we want to give that to them because we know what we wanted as kids. But in a sense, they are driving. They are in the driver's seat, because everything we're doing is what they're asking for. And we have to be able to tell them, look, no, that's a
Right.
hard word to tell people, right?
Right.
Especially those cute little faces, but you got to be able to tell them no.
Ain't
Like,
Very
cute.
true.
you don't need that right now. Like these phones, I saw somebody post earlier, no kid under 12 years old needs a phone. Well, these kids out here, I know I've seen 6, 7-year-old with their own phone.
With their own phone.
I've seen 2-year-olds with
For
iPhones.
an iPhone. $1,200.
Yeah. So I think, again, we have to reiterate to our children the value of the things that they're attaining and how they attain them. So
Yeah.
they're willing to work for what they get and don't think there's a shortcut to everything, because I think that's one of the things. They think it's a shortcut to everything. And some stuff, there's no shortcut for it.
You gotta work.
You just got to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way the system is set up. So, but William Haynes got another comment. So he said, so those are the questions to ask. However, he would take it a little bit further. What is your 20-year or longer plan? To him, that would illustrate if you're not really looking around the corner, or you're not really looking to be around long. Because if you ask somebody something about 10, 20 years from now and they look at you and their eyes buck, they probably ain't trying to look at you like that.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That is very true. And then 5 years go quick.
Real quick.
Years go quick now.
They do.
So I get it.
Yep. So, I mean, I think a lot of the things that we discussed tonight, of course, it can be discussed for days and days and days. But I think at the end of the day, it's just about the transparency that's going to help, with finances and relationships, with money and relationships, is just the transparency. And I know that's hard, to be transparent and to be, like I said, financially naked in front of, somebody else, and tell them every single thing. And especially with people coming into relationships in their 30s and 40s, like, you got baggage. You got jobs, you got credit, you got all this stuff that you bringing into the situation in this business merger. Y'all need to have some serious discussions.
Right. Again, man, don't be afraid to have those hard discussions, man. Like, it may get on your nerves. It may, some of the responses you may get might be, a bit challenging, But man, don't be afraid to have those ask those hard questions, man. Like put them on the table. Because if you don't, and you just hide it under the name of love, you're gonna have some issues, man. For real.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before we get up out of here, y'all know we usually go around and let everybody have an opportunity to give some final words and to let you know where to find them at on social media. So Trisha Michelle, the lady of the house, talk to the people and let them know where to find you.
Well, first I'm gonna tell y'all, if y'all willing to talk about y'all favorite sex positions together, y'all better be willing to talk about y'all financial positions together.
Lift your hands.
Outside of that, y'all can find me on Instagram at Trisha Michelle _YT. That's where you can find me at every Tuesday here, Fiyah Session, YouTube, Facebook, where to find us all the time. That's where you can find me.
I
For
like
sure.
that. Benji, that's another shirt idea. Sex positions,
Yes.
financial
You,
positions. I
you,
like
you
that.
know I'm going. You,
I
you
like
already
that.
know it.
I
You
like
know we
that.
come with a new shirt every week.
I like that. I
We
like
go to
that.
husband today.
Facts.
I mean, I'm Patricia. I'm trying to switch this thing up. You get what I'm saying? You know, I enjoyed my whole phase. I ain't gonna
I'm
lie.
so proud of you. In the words of Drake.
Oh man. I didn't even notice his shirt. Like really, I didn't even notice it.
I noticed it earlier. I was looking like, okay.
You know, Patricia would notice. I'm just saying.
It's pretty wild, but okay.
Hey, you know we got to come with a new concept every week. So
All right, yeah, that's dope. All right, Gmo, talk to the people, man.
Man, it's important, man, to understand who you aligned with, man. Alignment is everything. I'm talking about alignment like you're getting out, like you got a Buick. You know what I'm saying? Get that alignment together. Make sure y'all on the same page and that thing rolling steady. You know what I'm saying? You can find me, man. I'm everywhere. Facebook, Gary Grant. Instagram, Gmo the Great. I ain't got nothing going on this time around, man. I done did a switch of careers, so I done pivoted into the corporate office, and I put a couple of more commas in my account. So I ain't really been needing to do no business stuff, you know what I'm saying? But
I dig it.
Hey, man, I hope I'll be back, man.
Get money.
Hey.
Like Kevin Hart said, get money.
All right.
Gmo out here getting money.
Man.
He said commas. He didn't say
Right.
another
He
comma.
said
He
one.
said commas.
I'm gonna say if y'all want to know a little bit about something, man, to get your money up, man, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm gonna show y'all a couple of things about these tech certifications that'll take you to a whole nother range. You could possibly be a high value man or woman. Just let me know. Hit me at those pages and we can talk, man. I'll tell you about how to get it.
Big
Hey,
facts.
it's legit too. Trust me.
All legit. All legit.
Yup, your inbox should be blowing up in a minute, sir.
Yes,
Definitely. There's a lot of broke people out here.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This the promised land, man.
I'm be hitting you up too because I'm broke too. I need more money.
I'm already
More
on
money.
it.
I'm always broke.
We need that Sandaga night, man. Let me know.
Oh, no doubt. Shout out to Antonio them and my guy Boo at Sandaga. We got to come through soon. You know, your boy is mobile now, so definitely got to get out. You know what I'm saying? Get out here a little bit in these streets. All right, Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people.
Man, listen, with dope show tonight. Some questions came in the inbox as well that I'll probably end up having to answer later. But that's dope that people are watching the show, throwing their questions, and you know what I'm saying, looking for answers to their situations. But overall, man, listen, man, I know what Gmo talking about because I hit it up. Also, been on my little career switch. You get what I'm saying? So, but man, listen, this show tonight was dope. I hope you take it in the proper perspective and find out what works for you and yours. But again, man, be transparent, man. Like put your marbles on the table, man. Like we grown. We can't be sitting back guessing what folks is doing no more. Let folks know how you feel about money, how this relationship gonna go. Talk about it all, man. I'm at an age now where I'll talk about it all. Like, and it don't bother me. I'll let you know how I feel. Let me know how you feel, so we can either work this thing out or, you know what I'm saying, throw up the peace sign. But man, just try to figure it out, man. Figure out all these little nuances that you got to figure out. Life is to be figured out, man. Try to figure it out as best as you can, and go get you some money. Go to a tech school like Gmo. Go to tech school. I'm telling you, they handing out certificates like It's crazy. I'm saying, go hit that up. You'll get you some good money, and it ain't hard to find me.
And y'all can tell Benji's born in the 70s. That man said marbles on the table.
Marbles
These people was
They
like,
need to know if they're gonna throw something at them.
they probably gonna throw them marbles.
I mean, listen, I done seen that all, man. You get what I'm saying? That's why I steer clear of drama. I don't want that, because I grew up around wig snatchers, so I have this, little fiery, mean little person in me. So I got to stay away from folk, man. So
Yeah, man, said a mean little guy. Little
Little
short
man.
people.
We all know the little guys there.
Short people
you know what?
got
You
short
better be
fuses.
lucky your hair laid tonight. All right, so it's all right.
I'm sorry. I just need to know when it's not.
Wow. Ooh. Well, people,
you know what? You always got something to say. You know that.
She good. She good, y'all.
Good. It's okay.
That girl good, y'all.
She good. She good. I can't come at her like I can't. I just gotta respect it. Leave it alone. I can't even say that.
Yeah, just leave it alone, bitch.
Just leave it alone. But you've made this social media relationship toxic, Patricia. I just want you to know that.
Wow.
Oh, I did.
Yes, you did.
Accountability is the first step.
You started. I'm glad you understand your position. You're all right.
I haven't said anything.
Ooh. Well, y'all already know y'all can find me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can find the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAH Session on all social media platforms, especially YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel. Yeah. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that little bell, so anytime we post anything new, shorts, live videos, or any new content we post, you'll get a notification so you can come check it out and support it and jump in the comments. Y'all already know every Tuesday night we're here, we're live. We allow you the opportunity to comment and to join us live in the conversation. That's why we keep this platform the way we have it, with the live shows, to be interactive with the audience. So we appreciate you all showing up every week and giving us some talking points and some questions to further the conversation. And we definitely appreciate it. And we definitely look forward to each week coming on and sharing some information with you and bringing on dope guests. Next week, it's no exception. We'll be back. Same dope channel, same dope content. Yeah. Y'all already know what we do. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace.
Holla.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.